Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bitcoin Analytica. I'm chilling here in the Bitcoin Lounge with Fabian. I apologize, it's my accent there.
Fabian.
Yeah, dude, it's just in Spanish, the owls are one way, so that you like there's no in English it's like an A can be like a 20 things. Anyways, I kind of fucked that up, so my bad. But great to have you back. And yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to say what's up in the comments there. And before we move on, everyone, please jump into sazanalytica.com and join the Discord channel. We are pretty active over there. It's where we want to stay and communicate and get a lot of things done. Very organized. And we're also going to be starting to post exclusive video content in there, a couple free videos, a number of things like that coming soon. So look forward to seeing you guys in Discord. All right. That all being said, Fabian, thanks for joining us. And yeah, let's talk some business.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk some crypto.
Yeah. You know what? Let's talk some price action if you want to crack the seal on that. How do you feel?
Let me open my chart real quick. Was watching it. Very entertained today. So yeah, I mean, not much has happened in my opinion. We did not move. Oh, wait, let me stream. Let me
I was gonna
share
say,
my
yeah,
screen
let's
so
make
you
sure
can
you're on
see what
screen.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. I got a comment from Carl here.
Everyone should see my screen, right?
Yeah, you're up.
Perfect. So, I mean, my goal was, in order to enter a long position, I wanted to see a clear break of the 800 EMA on the 4 hours chart, which is the purple line here. We did not do that as the past times before. You can see here, we tapped it, retraced back into the freight, like here, tapped it, retraced, and it looks like BTC is going to do the same thing again the third time. And we're still moving in this boring sideways zone. So my bias is still to the downside. If we cannot break this with clear conviction, I don't see any point in opening crazy long-term long positions.
Excuse me, guys. Yo, what's up, Mo? And Edward and Jackknife, great to see you all here. Thanks for tuning in. Fabian, what you're talking about. I also think that it's not worth going degen in any direction right now. So you're talking about First, let's kind of regroup with what you said. We have basically a horizontal resistance line at around what's your target, or your line here is 27,000 or a little bit above that?
You mean that here?
No, your resistance area. Where's your resistance area?
The purple line here, the 800 EMA.
Okay, and that's currently sitting
chart.
at like 27, the low 27s.
Yeah, 27,300.
And I like what you said, something about the like without the conviction of the buyers, right? Something to that extent. I feel like this market is definitely dead. And I also just look on Twitter and everyone's talking about, what injections and all kinds of health issues. I almost see like Twitter as political and everything that's happened in the past 3 years outside of crypto. I almost like don't see crypto talk anymore. So I feel like it's very reflective of price. Like back in the day, there used to be arguments all the time. Shitcoin factory over here fighting with Bitcoiners and toxic maximalists fighting with meth head fucking shitcoiners and all kinds of stuff going on, right? So I feel like overall crypto space is dead. And yeah, I don't really think there's going to be much conviction buying all there was conviction celebrating earlier this year. You know, it wasn't like people were, you know, talking big and, you know, talking about the future of Bitcoin and stuff like that. It was price just started skyrocketing from 17, 15K range. And then it held for a while, and now we're going, you know, we're just a dead fish in the water. But I will say Michael Saylor did come out in the past couple days to reveal he ended up buying like another fat stack of Bitcoin. Did you see this?
I did not see it, but I can imagine that he's done it.
Yeah.
Because I
Go
mean,
ahead.
yeah,
I mean,
if you're in
I guess the
BTC,
point is,
you have to think like it has to go up. I mean, I think this is gonna hit higher grounds. I think everyone here is gonna think the same thing. Otherwise, we would not be into this market. But because you said the crypto space is dead, I would not say dead. It's just not ready again for the normies, for the normal guys, for the plebs, as some if you like to call them.
yeah, plebs,
It's not
100%.
much, it's not too much media coverage right now. Because if you take a look at this stuff right here, there's lots of volume, volume is dropping off. I think this was a retail
Relative
move,
to,
to be
well,
honest.
looking at that volume, it's all the volume was in the bottom. I mean, there's like really no volume.
Exactly. Here is the most volume, and then it's dropping off again. So the market, everyone is holding tight. Smart money is holding tight. No one is going to risk anything, because especially if you take a look at the EMAs, they're flattened out. They're vertical. So smart money is waiting until someone is making a move. Either way, upside or downside, just go with the flow.
Yeah, that's definitely the right mentality for a trader. Is, you know, you can't force the waves here. A couple things. So Jackknife pointed out Sailor bought in August, and I was just going to bring up the fact that when I saw that, I feel like I only saw like 150 likes on that comment. And that, like, I feel like a little while back that would have gotten thousands, you know. Yeah, as far as where we stand now, it looked pretty nice. That bottom was definitely bought up. Would you mind going back with the volume to that bottom range and just zoom in back out? Yeah, because it looks like the volume really picked up most at 19,000. It looks like the volume was really high at around 19 to 20,000. And then as we were kicking off here, I'm going to annotate on your screen just because, all right, it looks like this candle is kind of either this crash? Yeah, it looks like that.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, and so I'm curious about, yeah, that exactly. It looks like this volume, some of that peak volume is in that crash, peak volume in this crash. And so we kind of have like a little bit of noise here. We have a lot of noise here too, and a good bit of noise here. And that all leads us to the 20, you're actually pretty much your target area that you have labeled. So that's definitely interesting to me to see the volume. I haven't really looked at volume for a long time because I don't really care that much for it. But on a macro picture, this is very interesting.
I mean, to look at volume, in my opinion, is super important, because the guys with the most volumes are institutions. And
Yeah.
once that volume is out of the market, I think this is because we talked last time about it. You said, when did we have it? Or when was the last time that we had, after a massive dump, a higher all-time high?
Yeah. Never.
And as you can see here, volume slightly dropped off. And then there's not as much volume as here. So in my opinion, this is someone allowed us to let move price to the upside.
All right. So let me tell
Someone
you the
did
order book
allow
here.
it.
The order book analysis on this is that once you're in all-time high space, or once you reach a certain point in price, the order book is going to be very illiquid because you're in theoretical territory. So no one really knows where to plant their sells, because it's not like I'm going to sell at the 200-day moving average or anything like that. Once you're in an all-time high, then there's literally no indicator other than maybe some fib stuff overhead, or you know what I'm saying. So I feel like we're going to see in upward moves, particularly back then in 2021, like all-time high runs. We're going to see a lot more of the stuff to the upside that is not met with much resistance, because no one knows where to place their orders. And then the whales do come in, they do cap the price. They probably stagger some orders in it. Let's say every $1,000 aggregation or every $500, they start to flood the book with some orders, create some liquidity overhead. In other words, resistance, the price ceiling. And that's what I see there. So but also, so we'll that's one topic. And then to comment on why I don't care much for volume, I care to the extent that like this is important information to me out down there, and then obviously to see the fall off and all that stuff, and to see how dead the market's been, and we all feel how dead the market's been, so it's good to see it. But the thing that made me the only volume that I really care about is actually on TRDR, and it's a volume indicator where you can see within a candle how many buyers there were and how many sellers there were. Because one of the biggest deceptions is, for example, this red candle to the downside that led to the bear market low. That looks like it has a massive red candle of volume as well. But it's very possible that something like that could have had more buyers than sellers. So in fact, it will post a red candle when in fact it should be a green volume candle, in the sense that there were more buyers than sellers. Not saying that's what happened in that candle, but when I look at volume, the only thing I care about is how many sellers were there and how many buyers were there. And so if that was all gray, let's say it wasn't red and green candles, that would be just as valuable to me as far information. Even if it was just gray, it wouldn't matter to me on this chart, because all it's going to do is reflect what the candle color was. And again, a candle could open high and close low, but then you can have more buyers and sellers. So that's pretty much what I mean about volume. Why I don't care as much for it. That's just the main, that's why I say that. But I care about volume, obviously. Just I don't like, I care about how many buyers there were and how many sellers there were, and you can't get that stuff on TradingView.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah, sadly, of course. So all right, here, let me take over screen share for a minute and do some order book analysis, and we'll keep the ball rolling. Got to get this thing out of screen share, or out of here. All right, cool. All right, ladies and gents, pulling up my screen share over here. Okay, so we have consistent support. It's actually good to see that we went away from price started running away. We did create a local higher high. And that buy pressure was pretty consistent, and we do have a sell signal down here, but it's just good to note that this is very consistent buy pressure. And oh wow, we have a massive spoofer leading the book, 27030, 74 pack in front of the book, down to 62. Let's see, he instigated not that much, a couple whole number unit Bitcoins. Yeah, this is such a dead market, man. Spoofers used to be able to get people to dump 20 packs of Bitcoin. Is actually kind of funny. It used to be entertaining. So yeah, now we're back to a fair fight. Look at that. A 912. So we're talking about roughly a 12-pack bot as a result of that spoofer failing. That's one thing to take note of for all you guys out there learning some order book analysis. When a spoofer fails like that, you're usually going to get someone that either ate them or jumps on the discount relative to what we've have going on. Dual band confluence and a sell signal overhead. Let's just take a look over here. Things get pretty light. All right, let me drop this down real quick. 27.2 looks like we can fill that one up pretty easily. Static resistance gets a little more serious at 27,500 and above. We have a pocket every $500. It looks like we have something thick. And then we have just a cluster of action from 28.2 to 28.5. So And then we're pretty much clear to 30K, 137 pack, 130.98. We're clear to 30K above that. So I still think that upside action is on the table. Again, no one's really won our unofficial bet between me and Fabian. So between the 22 range and the overhead range. And speaking on that range, Fabian, this is my most convincing reason to believe in a price move to the downside.
CME gap.
Yeah. CME gap, man. There's a big one. It's been around since March of 2023. So it's a pretty serious gap. Let me move this thing over a bit. It's a pretty big gap. And it looks like it'll get filled. I mean, this isn't considered to me a continuation gap, but I do not believe this one will get filled. A continuation gap, it usually means that, you know what, maybe I'll just be able to scroll back and find one for you guys right here. A continuation gap is usually tested. There was a gap here, and then it was supported as almost like a horizontal trend line, and then price took off. So this is like a support zone. And you can also clearly see this gap right here was a support gap as well. So then we bring it back to the present day, and everything's been filled, except for like the only long-term one that will likely get filled is this 21,000 to 19,965 gap. So this is the main reason why I think we're going to go down at some point. I would totally be happy if we never saw that again. But I do think that we have something like that in our future, and it is interesting. That on that note, we also have a local CME gap to the downside, and then 2 local CME gaps overhead before hitting a couple of these big bear market gaps that were left behind in the mid 30,000 range and the low 50,000 range. So we definitely have a couple things, slapping us in the face. And I think we got to clear all this up, but I think we definitely have to clear this up. This is probably an inevitable price point for Bitcoin. Any thoughts? Even if you hate CME gaps, any thoughts?
No, I don't hate them, but I don't look too much on them, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, that's the idea.
Yeah,
that's my idea.
We got a fatty.
And I'm glad that someone is supporting it somehow.
Yeah. I will also note that I like the relationship between the moving averages, even on something like the CME gap with missing data technically. But we're actually behaving more technical, I feel like, than we are in spot action, in 24/7 trading charts, Binance USDT, for example. We're actually we supported the 200, and we've done a few more things that look a little more legitimate as opposed to just blowing out the fucking back hole and dying. We're now sitting between the 200 and the 50 rejection, support. You get what I'm saying? I kind of like the way this behaves. Do I rest all my faith on it? Absolutely not. But I like the same way that we're going to be dealing with this fight on the daily, with the same exact moving averages. We're now above the 50, which we've discussed over the past few days. Hopefully, being that it's cutting down so fast, it acts as support. And then we start dealing with the price channel between moving averages until it breaks out or breaks down. Yeah, something like this. Because this thing's going to be pretty wide. This is going to be cutting over like that. Our intermediate term moving average looks like it's probably going to have a very small, a nice little relationship with the 200. So this is kind of what I see happening until either one of these things falls through the floor or one of these breaks out the top, and then we'll start to deal with that stuff again. A lot of shit to delete now, but you get the point. If anyone has any questions in the comment section, feel free to throw them out. Just kind of drawing up some of the stuff we're seeing. Fabian, was there anything that you wanted to make sure we covered before? I know it's getting late and you're getting tired. So is there anything that we want to make sure we cover while we're up and active here?
No, but I think Jackknife had a good question or answer. The media coverage, the Sam Bankman free trial. I mean, that's exactly not the media coverage that we need in order to to let BTC go through the roof. Because this is, my mom would say, oh, look, another crypto scam. Don't get
Yeah.
into that shit.
Yeah. Let's
Not
talk about
much
that kind
needed.
of stuff real quick. Like Bitcoin has the lottery ticket mentality, and that is that you have your people that buy lottery tickets every day, and then the second it goes high, then people that don't usually buy lottery tickets buy lottery tickets. So all the people that are calling Bitcoin a scam or have done so in the past will probably become a buyer at some point. And there's two types of buyers. You either come into Bitcoin voluntarily or you come into Bitcoin kicking and screaming. The people that come in voluntarily are the ones that are dollar cost averaging, buying the dips, buying the bear market stuff. And then the people that come in kicking and screaming are the ones that buy bull market runs. And when the dollar's collapsing and banks are failing, well, and Bitcoin starts going up, tremendously in value. Well, those are the kicking and screaming type buyers. It's like I have to buy. I have no choice but to buy. So um, I think there's a lot going on with that type of mentality. And like you said, this type of media attention is not good. This is the type of media attention that probably scares people away. But I just like to make a point of the fact that you either come into Bitcoin voluntarily or kicking and screaming. All those people that are saying I won't touch it because some fucking little bitch stole, was funneling money to his fucking disgusting trash girlfriend, and they were fucking running an operation to make sure she can fail as a trader, with tons of customer funds, um, causing a big catastrophe. Yeah, that definitely isn't good for the space, the outlook of the space. But that doesn't change the fact that those who are wise know that Bitcoin is not here to satisfy news headlines. It's here to revolutionize money and make a money as equal a power to the masses as it is to the elites. So I just wanted to point some of that stuff out. Jackknife, you do bring up some good things here. What if SBF is found not guilty? I don't think that's even possible. There's just too much going on there that just all think he look. This is one of the things, you guys. I'm sure you all remember. I'm CEO of Embly, and when I had to sign the documents, basically the documents say that as CEO, that you're the one responsible. If something happens, you're going to be the one that gets in trouble. So if anything, I would say Caroline and all those other people that were probably involved in the top circle, they're probably going to get off a little more easily. But someone like Sam is probably going to do greater than a decade in prison. What's up, Cass Bundy? So yeah, that's my main thought there is SBF will probably be found guilty. Obviously, there isn't much justice in the world right now, so who knows? But if there happens to be some justice on this one, yeah, it does involve him, but in prison, probably living a good life, by the way. So it won't even be that much justice. It'll just kind of make people believe in something. But yeah, yeah, the SBF stuff, man. I think it is what it is. I'm not thinking it's going to swing price around too much or anything like that. I don't think it's really damaged Bitcoin. We can say that it damaged Bitcoin reflected by these red candles, but looking back on that, and Fabian, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. How the fuck could price run so far down so fast because an exchange locked people out of trading? It's like their funds were gone. They couldn't sell them. So you have a ton of users of an exchange. They get, they realize that the CEO has been doing dumb things, lost all their money. And then how do you justify a sell-off as a result of that news that people couldn't sell their Bitcoin? So I think that this is a lot of the time, headlines is just a way for whales to dump the market, and
No, definitely. Definitely. I
it make
mean, when we get the headlines, someone already made a move on them. Headlines are just, in my opinion, are just a tool to change our directions of thinking on the market.
Uh-huh.
Because every
Yeah.
time you see a headline on, I don't know which Financial Times magazine you want, it's intentionally. Someone was having clear thoughts about what is going to be written there. And before you even can act on it, actions have been already taken. You
Uh-huh.
just feed liquidity into some moves.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead. Go ahead.
there was one good question from Jackknife, maybe. Which institutions are bringing volume? I mean, banks, of course. Don't think that banks are not already into BTC and have trading floors with the smartest kids on the planet that are building them algorithms, etc. And of course, yeah, hedge funds, grayscale, etc. You name it. Those are the
So,
ones moving the markets.
um, just real quick, Cass Bundy, what do you think Bitcoin higher time frame, HTF, nice. I hear a lot of people think back to 20K. My only argument for 20K is a CME gap that we've left behind, and it's a pretty big one. We haven't really left CME gaps this large, historically. Got a lot of CME gaps. Maybe there's some decent sized ones, couple $100, but at the time, I mean, those are really small gaps. I think something like this is going to get filled. I mean, every single big CME gap that we've had, well, maybe not every single one, but a lot of these bigger CME gaps get filled. So we have a couple left overhead, and I don't think anyone doubts the Bitcoin bull run is probably going to fill some of this stuff. Here's a big one that was filled. Here's a big one that was filled quite a while later. This was from from July 2021 all the way up until May 20, almost a year, almost a full year. So I think there is an argument that CME gap down here gets filled 20 high 19.9s. And that's probably my most convincing argument of a Bitcoin down there. Now back to the other stuff, yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees that Bitcoin's at least going to come back to the all-time high in the next bull market. I'm pretty sure most people believe it'll go much higher. So yeah, these are probably going to be dead meat at some point, All right, so back to a couple of these things that were said in comments. SBF is part of politics, so he won't be guilty. Look, I think you're not wrong, but if anything, I think he's going to be guilty, but he's going to be in prison for a long time, but he's going to be living good, man. I mean, prison is, if you're on the right side of the freaking politics, you go to prison and you're living well. Ghislaine Maxwell, she's living pretty good in prison. She went to prison for the Jeffrey Epstein client list and all that stuff. For helping young women get involved in sex trade and boys and girls and all kinds of shit. She's a terrible human being. And look, she's not in a fucking dark hole rotting with her fucking overgrown hair everywhere and fucking never can shower. She's not in a hole. She's in a fucking normal prison teaching yoga classes and having the time of her life. So people do go to prison, and it's more to satisfy the public need to see that happen. But just because people want to see X evil individual went to prison, but few people realize that, yeah, you're probably still, look, there's probably in prison, if you're rich enough, you could probably have hoes coming in. You could still be banging women. You can be eating freaking Domino's pizza if you want it. Whatever you want. Prison is just depends on the money. It depends on the money and who you crossed over. And Sam Bankman-Fried clearly didn't cross over the wrong people. He crossed over plebs. He didn't cross over. He didn't fuck over the elites. He annihilated people like you and me, and people like you and me are fine to annihilate. They don't give a shit about that. So yeah, I think he will go to prison, but probably won't be the type of prison that you or I would go to if we if we did the same thing. What's up, Phil C? And Fabian, Jackknife brought up another question here that I wouldn't mind your input on. FTX is selling 100 million a month for a long time. The DOJ is selling the remaining Silk Road Bitcoins before the end of the year. Can you comment on the effect this might have?
I mean, I don't know what's gonna happen or how they're selling it. I don't know this, but from past, I mean, this is not the first time that these Silk Road coins and everything is gonna come on the market. Of course, people are going to sell before those coins are getting released. It's basically the old story that we already had the last couple of years. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
But
You're
not
not wrong.
much to say about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I'll agree. There's that story's been around for a while. It's been Mount Gox coins. In fact, we remember back in January of 2018, the Mount Gox whale was selling Bitcoin, I think even in December possibly, but he actually sold that first crazy time. Like he sold the bottom. It was really dumb. He might have even caused it. A massive candle that pushed down pretty far. So yeah, we've seen this stuff before. What does it usually do? I mean, it probably does what it was going to do. If they sell it on the open market, it's going to cause price to go down. Depends on how much. Excuse me. So, if they like Fabian said, I don't know how they're selling it. I think what he's alluding to is I don't know if it's being sold on exchanges, if it's being sold on OTC or auctioned, stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of agree with that statement. It doesn't mean devastation or anything like that just yet. It just means there's sell pressure. And how is that different than any other day? Yeah, we have a couple big fundamentals running, but um yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's no real way to predict what'll happen unless we know for a fact it's all being bought OTC. In which case, the only thing we'll know then is that same upside action isn't going to hit the open market, potentially causing a big green candle. But again, it's all speculation. We got to live with what we got. So yeah, Fabian, anything else on your mind?
No, not really.
All right. What do you say we wrap it up here? And yeah, I mean, without
Maybe one more thing,
uh-huh.
because we got 12 live viewers.
Yeah, hit it.
And if you want to support us, maybe post a nice comment and like it so we can grow and share some good content to others. And yeah,
We all
hope you
100%.
enjoyed it.
Maybe I need to start saying that stuff more often because I'm kind of lazy. I need to step up my sign-ons and my sign-offs. But yeah, you guys join the Discord channel. It's going to be a good time in there. I there will be some me and Fabian were talking earlier. At some point in the not too distant future, there will be public trades in there. Everything kind of how I used to have the token bot thing. Hopefully we can find something similar, but I will look forward to posting my trades in there, or at least some general thoughts. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of good stuff in the Discord channel. So ladies and gents, be sure to join. Looks like we got some last second questions here. You want to stick around or do you want to head out?
No, let's stick around.
All right, you go ahead and start with the first one. I'm just going to share screen and I need to go grab some water and a tissue real quick. I'll be right back. Would you mind getting started on that though?
Sure, let me just read it. Actually, I have to be totally honest, I've never heard about FASB. Let me Google that. Okay. I can't say anything about that, to be honest, but maybe Joe can. That's not my thing. Anything else? Any questions? I mean the stay liquid French, the ETF thing. I think I got a maybe controversial opinion about the ETFs, but so far all of these ETFs were just, in my opinion, just a fuckery. Just a fuckery with price. Just media pump and dump. Nothing more, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, of course, I mean, the ETF, is it better for institutions? I don't know. Institutions already can buy BTC. Everyone can buy BTC already. And if you want to buy them big time, you go to a liquidity provider. Like in my area, it's Swiss BTC, for example. There you can buy blocks of BTC. But I don't think that an ETF is going to make too much of a difference, except media pump and dump, as I already said. What do I think about altcoins? Altcoins, pretty nice. If you outsource their structures, you can make lots of money. Basically, I'm only into this market in altcoins to outsource good opportunities and to grab as much liquidity, as much money off the market, put them into my pockets and get back into BTC. But most of them are, of course, yeah, bullshit. Paste and copy, copycat all over the place.
Yeah, we all know what I say about altcoins. It's all shit. They're all scams. I'm curious. Me and Fabian will obviously probably debate this at some point in time. You know, some of these thoughts and concepts, but I think Bitcoin's the best money, 110%. I don't think there's a better money that exists today. But yeah, I think everyone else that's trying to profit off the pipe dream of recreating a Bitcoin success is a scammer. But yeah,
I mean, I would not say that Bitcoin is the best money. It's definitely the best store of value. It's like gold is the best money. Back in the days, gold was good money, but then you had to figure out how to transport tons of gold from, I don't know, overseas.
Mhm.
But Bitcoin is a good store of value, but of course, there's definitely way, way better and faster solutions to transfer value. But that value is only valuable if we give it some value. So there's
Yeah,
tons of opportunity, tons of options out there.
sure. I
Nothing
mean,
too special.
people can trade paper dollars, you know, and that are completely valueless and have the utmost faith in them. You're right. I think it all boils down to what people are willing to invest their, you know, energy into. And yeah, I don't think you know, it's a tough debate. I think Bitcoin's the best. It had an immaculate conception. It's
I agree.
yeah, there's no pre-mine, there's no trash, there's, you know, and it does pretty much what it said it was going to do, and store value, 100% agree. And the as far as the volatility argument, it's too volatile. It's just still in a price discovery phase. You know, I'm sure there's been volatility, and there's volatility in all assets. Gold isn't traded the way Bitcoin's traded. You know, gold is more of a accepted store of value, and it's not really traded the way Bitcoin is. You know, Bitcoin is still 10 years or whatever,
But
pretty young.
calling gold a store of value, I don't know. Put your money into gold. If you would have put your money into gold on, I don't know, July 2020 on top, you could have lost 20% on your money. And No one can
Yeah.
guarantee you that gold is not going back down to, I don't know, 1400.
Well, but
Why should it be any
you're
different?
looking at a short time frame. If you look at gold over the past 100 years or 50 years, anything. And if you look at gold on a large time scale, it's gonna be greater than it was pretty much, other than the 2008 financial collapse, which is that's greater than a decade ago. Definitely not recent. Gold, I think, was at around $2,000 an ounce. But if you look at 1913, and stuff like that, the old days, the decade by decade, gold, while the dollar has consistently lost value, something like gold has increased in value. So that would be why I say store of value. Is it something like if you would have bought Bitcoin 10 years ago, is it the same thing? Absolutely not. And it might never have that. But if the dollar collapses, I do see gold and silver being volatile to the upside 100%. A lot of demand increase. It's like the same thing that we saw with toilet paper demand increase at the beginning of the pandemic. Well, we could see something like that happen in a lot of real world assets like that matter. Physical money, copper, silver, gold. Can definitely see that playing out. And what Stay Liquid said, I think volatility will die down as market cap increases. Yeah, as people accept the fact that Bitcoin is money, and I can use the Lightning Network to buy my coffee, and I can, and there's probably a number of innovations that need to be scattered up into Bitcoin. I think what were we talking about with Bitcoin Mechanic a little while ago? I think it was Schnorr signatures. I can't remember if it was that exactly, or if it's but there was a BIP that like lost popularity, and then now it's back in the mix and stuff. A lot of these things there to solve the scaling issue. Probably one of the largest issues in Bitcoin before mass adoption is a reality. So there's a few things out there that I think will change. But as far as volatile is concerned, yeah, it's going to be volatile until it's something like Ecuador, where you can bring Bitcoin to a McDonald's and buy a freaking poison burger or whatever, So volatility is going to be around, and there's probably a few more bull market and bear market cycles. We've lived through two now, big ones, 2017. Well, we've lived through many, but I've been around in the market since 2017. And so I've seen two big ones, 20K high and then 60 something K high. So the next one we'll see. And I think it's probably coming in less than a year from now. Maybe it starts in about 10 months, something like that from now.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
100%.
Hopefully something is gonna happen soon.
10 months, man. We just
But
gotta
first, I want to see a nice dump to the downside, and then it can go up.
Yeah, well,
It's just my preference. It's just what I want to see.
I hope everyone has some dry powder on that day. So yeah, let's see here. If you Google read definition of store of value, I don't think Bitcoin fits that definition. Yeah, we'll go through some of that another time. Too volatile. Okay. Well, yeah, I still think, like, I guess this just all goes back to the main idea of altcoins, and just there's going to be people on different sides of the map. Do I see a future for blockchain technology outside of money being its only use case? I got to be honest, I don't know. I mean, obviously there are tons and tons of projects out there. Has anyone delivered? Or am I watching, am I playing video games on the blockchain? No. Am I using blockchain internet? No. Am I betting and using a decentralized blockchain betting service because it uses oracles, and the oracles pull the real world data successfully, and that aggregate is 10 out of 10 correct 110% of the time? No. So I don't know. There's a lot of things that we just don't know, and the future has to answer that question for us. But to me, as far as things stand now, I think a lot of things work. So some things like DeFi, for example, like like the Uniswap and stuff like that. That works, you know. And look, that's a great feature. Uniswap is probably one of the greatest features on Ethereum in my eyes, and a way for you to exchange assets without anyone else needed, you know, as far as a governing authority. Um, you know what I'm saying? Fabian, like what are your thoughts on stuff like that? I feel like it worked, you know, and as much shit as you can talk about the pre-mine and all the garbage, whatever, and the lies, stuff did work, you know, and that's something that you can't hate on, you know.
You mean Uniswap?
Yeah,
All
stuff
of
like that.
these, yeah, well, definitely it works. Of
I
course it
mean,
works.
what I'm
But I
what I'm trying
mean,
to say is, go ahead, go ahead.
no, but the time is not, it's not here for decentralized, because let's be honest, if you're a business owner, if you're a government, you don't want decentralized.
Correct.
So
It
you
gives
need
too much
control over
power.
something,
It
especially
definitely
data.
it gives too much power to the people, but that's why I like Bitcoin, because there's really no way to, and Uniswap, there's really no way to control it, you know. I guess Uniswap is controllable to an extent. I know that they've withdrawn coins from the listed trade pairs, but you're right. Can the government allow something decentralized to step up and gain market cap? Well, I think the answer is they don't want to. They certainly would not give up control that they have, and voluntarily. The government, if anything, Russell Brand said it best, is that if that the government is going to create emergencies to gain more power, and like that's what historically has happened. So I don't ever think the government likes what Bitcoin did. I think it, in fact, is heavily threatened by Bitcoin, and has done a lot of things to suppress its growth. So uh, with other things, yeah, I guess it's kind of like, you know, what things are an immovable force or an unstoppable object, an immovable object, unstoppable force. I think Bitcoin is the immovable object, the unstoppable force. I don't really know who's what in everything, but I think Bitcoin is achieved escape velocity. It's too hard to shut down now. Other things maybe can be, especially if there's an office and you got three dicks running the company and, you know, getting tons of customer funds and blowing it on cocaine and hookers in the Bahamas. But yeah, so as far as like Bitcoin goes, I think it's gone. There's nothing the government can really do to stop it. It's, you know, and if the government makes Bitcoin illegal, which they certainly could do, what happened with weed and drugs? So, you know, the freaking government lost the war on drugs. How successful can a specific government be against a globally traded asset that's a digital, you know, a digital freaking product, you know, that it's really hard to make something like that illegal and expect people to be able to not be able to circumvent that law very easily, much more easily than going out and buying weed from some fucking drug dealer. You have to get in your car, drive to freaking dude, pull out some cash. You know, like making drugs illegal was probably hard enough to get a few things, but making Bitcoin illegal, how in the world is the government ever going to enforce something like that, other than by attacking companies like Coinbase, Gemini, Kraken, and maybe, you know, some others? So,
I mean, exactly.
yeah. So
Yeah, I think it's currently, I mean, not currently, the whole time, the last couple of years, institutions, governments, etc., need to accumulate it. The same as I just said with drugs. If you legalize them, you can make way more money out of them.
hmm,
For example, California, I think, I'm not from the US for everyone, but I think weed is legal.
mhm.
They're making shit tons of money. Why should they ban BTC? They have endless funds to fuck the market up and down, to take your money, to take your crypto. Maybe FTX was some kind of inside scandal and the coins are now at, I don't know who the fuck has them, but it doesn't really matter. But as long as they control the majority of those coins, it's a business. They can run the market. Why ban it?
Uh,
So it's definitely here to stay.
yeah, and even to your point, it's like using fake dollars printed out of thin air to move the market of something that has finite, economic rules that apply. The dollar doesn't have the same restrictions because it's an enter button on a keyboard determined by some old white haired pieces of shit. So yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. It's a market that can and look, it does the same thing every few years. It literally does the same shit. Fucking goes up massively. 10,000x shit coins, 3x Bitcoin, 5x, 10x Ethereum. It's going to do the same shit over and over and over again until someone changes that cycle. Only difference between now and 2017 and now in 2021, there's probably exponentially more shit coins. Back in fucking 2020, you could fit back in 2017, you can fit most of the shit coins on one exchange. Now there's fucking so many shit coins out there, and then there's like forks of each one up the wazoo. There's just no control in this, So I think if anything, it's just going to keep getting, crazier and crazier. There's probably where there were probably 4,000 shit coins in 2017. There's probably by 2021, there's probably 10 to 15,000. Now there's probably more. And, you just see all these people trying to post them. You used to see it a lot more, at least. Yeah, you used to see a lot more of that shit. And now there's probably double, triple what there was in 2020. Different forks, coins existing. For example, Ethereum has every ERC20 on it and so forth. Now Richard Hart creates Pulse Chain that just created entire copy paste of the Ethereum blockchain. Now there's Ethereum things and there's P things, Pulse things. There's, what I'm saying? So there's exponentially more shit out there. It just leaves a lot more room for people that are wealthy to plant more seeds and move the market exactly how they want it to move. So, yeah, what are your thoughts, Fabian? Anything you want to get to? I'm chilling, just so you know. I'm down to chill with all you guys in the comments. Keep throwing out some comments. I'm down to chill for a long time here. So if you guys got things to say, Sam, Fabian, you got things, jump in.
I mean, I totally agree with what you've just said. Totally agree.
Yeah. All right, let's just see here. We haven't really gotten any new comments in a while. Jackknife. Does someone need to own a Faraday cage? Let me ask you this, Fabian. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know what that is.
Okay. Well, we're going there now. So, to be honest, if I had a Faraday cage, I'd probably be happy. I probably
You probably got one.
I think about getting those Orgonite things, dude. They're definitely fucking with us, man. And 5G is probably one of the best ways to. I think they said it straight up. Like 5G is how you can kill the world the quickest, with minimal damage to everything else. If they just like bump up the frequency, it'll nuke everyone in the local vicinity.
Nah. Do you have wireless LAN at home?
Yeah, wireless.
Check, turn it around and tell me if it says 5G. You have it for probably 5 years already in your home.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that statement.
Everyone.
What I'm saying is if they like amplify the frequency, it's been talked about. I'll send you a video. 5G is literally a weapon that can be used to kill a mass number of people, but it's like not as it stands now. Imagine it's like waves. And if you amplify those waves, you like turn up the volume, let's say, then it'll cause everyone's freaking eyes to bleed and brain to explode. Something to that effect. I'll send you a thing on it. But so to me, it's not really conspiracy theory that it has the potential to kill. The conspiracy theory would be, is it what they're doing to kill people? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I do think there is value to escaping the matrix. Like if I'm sitting at home all day and I've been here for a while, I go to the forest for a couple days, probably within the first couple hours, I start feeling better. There's definitely something going on there. So I I don't know if I'm ever gonna have one, but I do think things like being grounded and probably escaping the matrix every once in a while, going out into the cuts and having a good time. I think stuff like that is important. Do I have a Faraday cage here? No. If I had one, it would probably be my books would probably be in there so as to make sure that no one can interrupt me when I'm chilling and trying to smoke a cigar and read a book or something like that.
You could do it in your car. That's a Faraday cage as well.
A car?
Somehow. Yeah, sure. It's
I
not
don't know.
connected to the ground.
No, the car's not connected to the ground. Rubber.
Exactly.
Well,
That's
but
why
like
when the thunder is hitting you, nothing's happening.
I guess so. You're saying a car is a Faraday. As I understand it, Faraday cage blocks all reception and stuff like that, all radio waves.
Uh, I don't know too much about this stuff, but a car is also one. Just Google it.
Yeah, we'll check it sometime. Well, let's wrap it up anyways, because I'd really want to cook here pretty soon, and we can go down the rabbit hole another time, guys. But Fabian, thanks so much for joining me here. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning into today's show, and hope you always never hesitate to ask questions. Be sure to join the Discord channel. I hope you guys can get active in there because I certainly want to be. So we'll be putting more stuff out there in the coming weeks, coming days, and we'll make that community, I think, shine a lot more brightly. So, anyways, Fabian, anything you want to throw in?
Nothing. Just have a good night or good day wherever you're at right now on the globe,
Yeah, and
and
you
take care.
stick around for an extra 30 seconds here after I end the stream.
I
But
will.
yeah, everyone be sure to hit that like and subscribe. And thank you so much for your comments and thank you for your support always. Some of you for many years now. I do truly appreciate it. So thank you all so much for tuning in and having a good time with us here. All right, everyone, take care. Have a beautiful evening, beautiful day wherever you are. Do some push-ups and some sit-ups. Turn the shower water cold. Eat some health food, and enjoy your beautiful life. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.